like him and don't like him, there's nothing you could do about him because he's number one.
This is what we call an alpha widow, a woman who's been with a guy who she considers to be the best guy she can possibly have. For whatever reason, it didn't work out, but still, the guy set the standards and expectations on what she thinks she deserves. So moving forward, she's going to compare every guy she dates to that guy. Essentially, she moved on physically, but not mentally. She's still holding on to the idea of what it would be like to be with that top tier guy. He is the one that got away. This is a very real phenomenon, and this is the dark side of hypergamy. So we know the women are driven by the instinct of hypergamy, which means they want to be with the man who they perceive to be the best man they can possibly get. But because of this instinct, women are also not wired to cope with the decrease in quality in the men they date. If a woman's been with a man so high quality, the absolute best she can get, and for some unfortunate reason, she couldn't get a commitment out of him, he is still the baseline for the kind of man she thinks she deserves. So any man she dates after that, if they don't meet the baseline, she's not going to be happy. I remember Chris Rock talking about this in one of his stand-up shows. Women cannot go backwards in lifestyle. For example, the first time she doesn't need to take the bus to go places because she's dating a man who has a car. From that point on, she's not going to date any man who does not have a car. Or if she's dated a man who had his own place and no longer lived with his parents. From that point on, she'll only date men who has their own places because she feels like that's what she deserves. Women are not willing to go backwards in lifestyle, and the same principle applies to relationships. If she's dated a man who she considers, say, 7 out of 10, that's going to be the new baseline. From that point on, she's not going to date any man who she considers to be below a 7. And if she's been with a guy who is 10 out of 10, he is perfect, and for some reason she can't get a commitment out of him, that's going to be the new baseline. She's not going to date any man who she considers to be less than perfect. If she does, she is settling. And the reason why she's settling is because that man is not her first choice. For example, if she's dated David Beckham and that's her ideal man, but he doesn't want to commit to her, maybe because she's getting a bit older, she's not as young and pretty, maybe she doesn't have any personality, for whatever reason, he doesn't want to commit to her. So she has to compromise. She has to settle for someone who's willing to commit to her. But that's not her first choice. Her first choice will always be David Beckham. At this point, I hope you can see the flaw in this logic. Just because a man is willing to sleep with you doesn't mean he wants a relationship with you. There is a huge difference between the quality of woman for a one-night stand versus the quality that he is willing to tolerate in a committed relationship. She was able to attract his attention by being sexually available, but that was it. If he's genuinely a high-quality guy, a 10 out of 10, then he has a lot of options. In order for him to commit to her, she has to offer more than just sex, because he can get that anytime he wants. We see this all the time with the top male celebrities like professional athletes, artists, and rappers. There are so many women who have been the casual hookups for these guys. For those women, having been with those top tier guys is probably the peak of their lives. After that, by necessity, everything's gonna be downhill. So I can't help but wonder where those women are now. It's probably quite a depressing life for them because they're settling down for someone who's not their first choice. That guy is never gonna be able to measure up to the top tier guy that they've been with. So subconsciously, they're going to compare every guy to the top tier guy. And what tends to happen is that they're going to resent that guy. And the worst part about this is that most women are not even aware as to why they resent that guy. So a woman might find herself constantly bored, frustrated, constantly arguing. She feels like the guy is a disappointment in some way. Little things he does just annoy the shit out of her. She is constantly criticizing him, trying to change him. But at the end of the day, it's all about her. The guy has nothing to do with it. He doesn't know that he's in a relationship with an alpha widow. This is why even when she's in a relationship, she's still looking for other options. She's looking to monkey branch because she's not happy with that guy. She's always seeking to find a better option. If you want to learn more about monkey branching, check out this video here. But how likely is she going to find a guy with that quality who's going to come along and rescue her? It's not likely to happen because every year she gets a bit older and her looks will start to fade. And here's the kicker. She gets more bitter at the world that she feels is unjustly denying her happiness. And to a lot of men, bitterness is a very unattractive trait. That's not even the most depressing part. Here's the most depressing part. You're not gonna like what I'm about to say. If she is settling for you, she will not be genuinely happy because, fundamentally speaking, your relationship is running counter to her self-esteem. By settling down with you, she is acknowledging that that's what her worth is, that you are what she deserves. And if you're not her first choice, she is always going to feel like she deserves more. By committing to you, she admits that her worth is not that high. Because if her worth was high, she would have been with a top tier guy, but she is not. This is why she will never be genuinely happy if she settles for you. The only way she can be genuinely happy is if she considers you to be her number one choice. So what's the lesson here? If you're a man, you need to keep improving yourself. There's no other way around it. You might be rich, have a fancy house, have a fancy car. Another guy comes along, he's not rich, but he's handsome, he's muscular, and he's tall. Maybe she'll go with him because she cares about looks. Or maybe you're the tall guy who's handsome and muscular, but she's going for someone who has money. At the end of the day, you can't appeal to every woman. Some will find you attractive, some won't. So the only thing you can do is to keep improving yourself. The more accomplished you are, the closer you get to being her number one choice. And if you're a woman watching this, what can you do? The first thing I would invite you to do is to reassess your own values and adjust your expectations. If you are genuinely 10 out of 10, and I really mean genuinely 10 out of 10, you should not have this problem. If you are a high quality woman, men are going to want to be with you. But if you're not a high quality woman, it will be unrealistic to want to be in a relationship with a high quality man. If you don't have anything to offer and you keep going after high quality men, someone who's completely out of your league, then it's just a matter of time before you end up becoming an alpha widow. And when that happens, you have no one else to blame but yourself. Second, understand that appearance is not everything. It doesn't matter how pretty you are. Your looks will fade, and it fades pretty quickly. Your appearance will only help you attract a man, but your personality is what keeps the man. With that said, it's important for you to understand your own nature as well as understanding men. I made a video about what every woman should understand about men. I'm going to link it over here if you want to check it out. Alright, that's all for this video. Questions or comments, leave it down below. Until next time, stay curious.